It's not an easy time to be a founder anywhere in the world, and especially in African markets, right? So consumers are suffering, businesses are suffering, and for VC-backed founders specifically, there's been a bit of whiplash, from growth at all costs to kind of profitable, efficient growth. So the question I have for you is just generally, how are you coping? How are you managing that transition as a mature VC-backed company from
Mhm.
growth to efficient growth plus profitability?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me again on the podcast today. For us as a company, like many other companies, what we've done is to essentially be incredibly tight with how we are using our resources. Right, that means thinking about our business just from a perspective of just doing what's capital intensive, which usually is very high growth, high expansion, getting into multiple countries, launching multiple products, getting licenses, hiring a lot of people. Well, those are very expensive things to do. And when capital is less freely moving in the economy and it's more expensive to get, you then want to be very very frugal and think about your allocation incredibly deeply. And I think that's actually a good thing, by the way. I don't think it's an entirely bad thing. And I think for us, the company, we've looked at it as an opportunity to become incredibly efficient. And you've talked about, the layoff, for example. That was a very painful process to go through because you work with people very closely, you become friends with them, you respect them, you admire them, and then you have to let them go, and that's very tough. But the silver lining of it all is that it actually makes the whole organization that much more efficient because you're now leaner, you can execute faster, you can actually become a more productive organization as a whole. And so across the board, it's reinforced a very strong mindset of every single resource has to be used efficiently. Capital, time, human capital, everything around the company, we have to think about doubly and triply how much we're maximizing it. And that's a very powerful state and muscle for any company to build.